Would you work a job knowing that every time that you started your shift, that you was risking your life, and do it for minimum wage? West Virginia miners have worked like that for years, till the first strike in 1880 at Hawks Nest. Then on to Paint Creek, Cabin Creek, and then on to Matewan. Mary Harris Jones was one of the principal leaders during this time. She worked in the labor movement till 1920 to 1921. She worked on Blair Mountain. United Mine Workers has played an important role in our country since its inception. The United Mine Workers has forced coal mining companies to pay higher wages and increased safety in the mines. Organizer Sid Hatfield was even killed for his participation in the organizing. Today I'd like to share with you a little history of the organization, some key people involved, some reasoning behind organized labor and what they represent. Now that I've shared a brief history of the mine workers in West Virginia, I'd like to tell you how the United Mine Workers was started. The United Mine Workers was founded in Columbus, Ohio, on January 25th, 1890. This was a combination of two older labor groups, the Knights of Labor and the Trades Assembly, 135. They became an organization known as the American Federation of Labor. The AFL established tools to take to Congress for miners to represent, for miners' independence and to establish safety regulations. It also granted miners the right to collective bargaining. In 1933, the UMWA was about 800,000 members. Now that you know a little bit about why the organization was founded, I'd like to share with you some key people throughout history. By the early 1930s, John L. Lewis was the international president of the United Mine Workers, and he's still recognized today for what he's done. He was the driving force behind the National Recovery Act of 1933. This allowed miners in every state of the country to organize. Under his leadership, the United Mine Workers broke free of the AFL and set up its own entity, the Congress of Industrial Labor, also known as the CIO. After World War II, the UMWA concentrated on wage increases, medical services, and retirement benefits. Mary Harris Jones was a very important leader too. She was an influential organizer for the miners in the early 1900s. She was called fearless in standing up to major coal companies. She was jailed several times and was vilified by the press for advocating workers' rights. Now that you know a few main leaders of the UMWA, I'd like to share with you some things that the organization has done on a congressional level. In 1964, the United Mine Workers achieved a contract between themselves and the federal government known as the UMWA Welfare and Retirement Fund. This would change the way health care was delivered to miners. The fund built 8 hospitals in the Appalachia area, and it was funded solely by the United Mine Workers. It set up numerous clinics for families so they wouldn't have to travel so far for medical treatment, and it also paid the doctors at the hospitals where these miners worked. Now that you know some roles that the United Mine Workers plays in government, I'll share with you some benefits of the educational system in the United States. The United Mine Workers provides funding for the Lauren E. Kerr Scholarship Fund. It pays a full tuition for students for college education. The UMWA/BOCA fund is another, and it pays for re-educating, training to any miner that's been displaced out of the workforce. And the John L. Lewis Scholarship is yet another. These scholarships are available to all current and retired family members of the United Mine Workers. Now that you know part of how the organized labor unions plays in our country's government, the educational system, and some key people, and a brief history of the United Mine Workers. Today I've shared with you some struggles that miners have faced throughout the years and some people that have had great influence in this organization. Now I'll ask you again, would you work a job that you had to risk your life for minimum wage?
Nice job.